A quiet life in a small town. In the misty hills of Willow Creek, Washington, 35-year-old Emma Carter lived what seemed like a postcard-perfect life. Nestled in a charming craftsman-style house with a wraparound porch, she shared her days with her husband, James, 52, and their bright-eyed daughter, Sophie, 10. Their small town hummed with warmth. Think Saturday markets, tree-lined streets, and neighbors who waved from their front yards. Emma, once a cashier at a local grocery store, had traded her name tag for motherhood after Sophie's birth. She now juggled freelance online gigs, writing parenting blogs and selling handmade candles, while keeping their home cozy and inviting. James, a middle manager at a shipping company, was the breadwinner. Life wasn't flashy, but it was theirs, woven together with routine and love. Or so Emma thought. But beneath the surface of their idyllic life, something was shifting, pulling at the seams of their family. Cracks in the facade. Change crept in like the town's morning fog. James started coming home late, his excuses flimsy. "Work's a mess," he'd mumble, avoiding Emma's gaze. His warmth faded, replaced by silence. His phone, once left on the kitchen counter, was now always in his pocket, its screen locked tight. When Emma tried to talk, his temper snapped, harsh words cutting through her efforts to connect. Emma felt a knot tighten in her chest. Was it her? Was she asking too much? She pushed the doubts aside, clinging to the rhythm of their life. School drop-offs, Sophie's soccer games, quiet evenings with coffee and streaming. But the unease lingered, a shadow she couldn't shake. Haunted by doubts, Emma could no longer ignore the truth that waited in the shadows. The heartbreaking truth. One sleepless night, with James working late again, Emma's curiosity won. She hesitated, then opened his laptop, her hands trembling as she clicked into his email. What she found shattered her world. Messages to a woman named Rachel. Hundreds of them, poured out love and intimacy. "You're my escape," James wrote. "With you I'm alive." Each word was a dagger, slicing through 13 years of marriage. Emma confronted him the next day, her voice steady despite the tears. James didn't flinch. "I love her," he said, his tone flat, unapologetic. "I haven't been happy in years." No remorse, no explanation, just the cold truth that he'd chosen someone else. With her heart in pieces, Emma faced a new reality, one where love had turned to betrayal. Abandoned. James's departure was gradual but brutal. He spent less time at home, his presence a ghost in their lives. One day he announced he was moving out. No goodbye for Sophie, no attempt to soften the blow for their daughter. He packed a suitcase and left, the door clicking shut behind him. Emma held Sophie as she sobbed, her small frame shaking with confusion. "Why doesn't Daddy love us anymore?" Sophie asked. Emma had no answers, only promises to keep her safe. Alone, she faced the wreckage of her life, piecing together a new normal for her daughter while her own heart lay in tatters. Yet, in the silence of James's absence, Emma's memories stirred, pulling her back to the beginning. A love that once sparkled. Emma's mind drifted to the beginning. She was 22, working at a lively diner in Willow Creek, her smile bright as the jukebox played. James, older and polished in his button-down, walked in one rainy afternoon. His charm was magnetic, confident, attentive, the kind of man who made you feel seen. He'd leave big tips and linger to chat, his stories of life beyond their small town sparking dreams in her heart. They fell hard and fast. Within a year, they were married, Emma swept up in his vision of a stable life. She quit her job at his urging, embracing the role of wife and later mother. It felt like love, until it didn't. But the fairy tale faded, and Emma began to see the loneliness that had always been there. The lonely years. Looking back, Emma saw the signs she'd ignored. James's warmth faded after their wedding. He buried himself in work, leaving Emma to navigate pregnancy and parenthood alone. Diapers, doctor visits, sleepless nights, she carried it all. When she craved his support, he offered shrugs or silence. "You're fine," he'd say, dismissing her struggles. Emma, desperate to hold their family together, convinced herself it was enough. But the loneliness grew, a quiet ache she buried under daily chores. That ache would soon become a breaking point, one Emma could no longer ignore. The final blow. When James returned for his belongings, he moved through their home like a stranger. No apologies, no glances at the family photos on the mantel. "I'm done," he said, his voice hollow. Then he was gone for good. Emma stood in the empty living room, the weight of his betrayal crushing her. But amid the pain, a truth surfaced. James hadn't just left that day. He'd been gone for years, emotionally absent long before Rachel. The realization stung, but it also sparked something new, a flicker of resolve. From the ashes of her broken marriage, Emma found the strength to rebuild. Rising from the ashes, Emma sat Sophie down, their hands clasped tightly. "This isn't your fault, sweetheart," she said, her voice firm despite the tears. "We're going to be okay." And she meant it. No more waiting for James to change. No more living in his shadow. Emma dusted off her resume and landed a job at a local bookstore. A cozy haven filled with the scent of paper and possibility. The work was simple, shelving books, helping customers, but it gave her purpose. Each paycheck, however small, felt like a step toward reclaiming her life. Step by step, Emma and Sophie began to weave a new life, one built on their own terms. Healing step by step. Life wasn't easy. Bills piled up, and Sophie's questions about her father didn't stop. But Emma and Sophie found their rhythm. They read together at night, Sophie's head resting on Emma's shoulder as they lost themselves in stories of brave heroines. They laughed over burnt dinners and danced to pop music in the kitchen. Slowly, their home felt like theirs again, free of James's shadow. Emma began to see herself differently. Not as a discarded wife, but as a woman capable of rebuilding. She joined a book club, made new friends, and even started journaling, pouring her pain and hope onto the page. Sophie, too, bloomed, her smile returning as she scored goals at soccer and chattered about her dreams. Through their shared healing, Emma discovered a truth that would set her free. A new beginning. Months later, Emma stood in her bookstore, arranging a display of novels about second chances. She caught her reflection in the window, stronger, surer. The pain of James's betrayal hadn't vanished, but it no longer defined her. She was proud, not just for surviving, but for thriving. She'd found her voice, her independence, and a love for herself she'd never known. For Sophie, for herself, Emma had rewritten their story. And as she locked up the shop that evening, the stars bright above the quiet town, she felt free. A message of strength. Emma's journey reminds us that women are not defined by their wounds. With time, courage, and self-love, they can rise, rebuild, and rediscover their power, no matter where in the world they call home.